You're listening to The Play Pouch. Welcome back, everyone. We are discussing some fairly disturbing news now. We're talking about Capcom and their latest announcement. In order to sort of get to that point, I feel like it's prudent to sort of give a tiny little bit of a backstory.
Yeah, bit of background, I think. Hello, everyone.
So, first of all, Capcom has developed a new engine. It's the REX engine, and they are trying to market it out like, I guess, like the Unreal Engine are doing. So there's that's happening. And then also there was an incident during a Street Fighter tournament recently where some player had forgot to take the nude mod of Chun-Li off. And
Classic.
yeah, so it went all the way to the top, to the execs and who, what have you. And they're now a little bit worried. And they've come back with a statement which is basically mods for PC games can cause, quote, reputational damage, unquote, thanks to content which causes offense to public order and morals, resulting in a blow to the games and presumably to the company's images. That's according to Eurogamer. Now, let's address this first. Reputational damage. I don't believe that in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. I think their idea of reputational damage is a lot different to our idea of reputational damage. Because look, the more your game can be modded, the more people are going to love that game, right?
It extends the lifespan of pretty much every game because it makes people replay it with mods.
Yeah.
Little bit extra background just on us very quickly, guys. I have not created a mod. I am more of a console gamer than a PC gamer. I have used mods, particularly on 4X kind of games like XCOM. I was all over that stuff.
Yeah.
But my partner here, my broadcast partner, Pete,
Hello.
he actually created a mod, and I know has experienced a lot more mods on PC because obviously as an Xbox, the only mods we ever got was from Creator Club. Is that what it was called, Pete? Creator Club?
Creation Club, yeah.
Creation Club, and that's all you ever got on the console. So Pete here, you really got into the mod scene, didn't you? So you've got a lot more vastly experience than I am on it.
Well,
So what do you think? I mean, you're somebody who even made a mod for Skyrim.
Yeah. I without risking blowing one's own trumpet. I made a mod which was fairly successful, Mage Robes of Winterhold. That's on screen right now. If you want to take a gander at what it did. At that time, there was no real sort of clothing mods for the game, so I went all in and completely overhauled the Mage Robes, all of them. I think there were like 52 in all. So I have experience with modding, and for me, it enhances the love for the game. Even when it comes to nudity mods and sex mods and all this kind of shit, it's all adding to this love for the game. It's honoring your game. If it's gotten to that point where people are putting sex mods in, your game is popular. Right, you can pretty much say, okay, cool, man. This game is preem. It's right up there. It's god tier status, and so this whole reputational damage thing is just it's corporate jargon.
But the thing is, Pete, that I'm is like, why now? I mean, I know you explained the reason why now is because of that tournament, but technically that's kind of not a common thing. Like some companies 100% embrace it. We've discussed Bethesda a lot already on this channel. We know how much they rely on modders, and like I said, I've mentioned my experience mainly with XCOM. The stuff you could do with XCOM, I mean, it's already a good game, but the fact you could do so many mods.
Yeah.
And then there's other games which have got total conversion mods, the Mount and Blade series. Anyone who's ever heard of that, it's completely different games. There's Star Wars mods and all these things. So most of the time, it always enhances the games, and a lot of times it's single player. So what you do in your own time on single player stuff, who cares? I think the reason why they've almost been forced to kind of comment on it because unfortunately, it crept into
Yeah.
obviously an online or a co-op, you know what I mean, a multiplayer, I should say, kind of platform. But a lot of these mods, dude, are on these big single player PC games like Skyrim, like XCOM, like Mountain Blade, and all these kind of things. And what the person does in their own home, in general, is up to them, including what mods they want to put on their goddamn machines. That's how I look at it.
See, I come from the school of knowledge where if I've bought the game, I own that copy of the game.
Yeah.
Right. And regardless of what your terms and conditions say, I own a copy of that game. And if it's a single player game, I can do whatever the fuck I want to that game.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
That's my game. I own a copy of that game now. Granted, I can't upload it. I accept that. If it's a multiplayer game, I can't mod it for multiplayer, or if it's like an online multiplayer, whatever, I understand. I can't mod that. It's absolutely fine. But if it's a single player game, I'll do whatever the fuck I want with it. And you have no say. You can't have a say because you're never going to know, are you? Unless you're a bell end and you forgot to turn off the Chun-Li nude mod when you're doing a competition. Fuck's sake.
Do you think, because we know that Bethesda tried to get their slice of the pie, do you think because Capcom can't monetize it, they're like, oh, well, you know, we'd love to get a piece of, you know, we'd like to get a little bit of the extra money, etc., like Bethesda tried to do when they tried to
Probably,
sell
yeah.
mods.
I mean, like with this announcement that their new engine is, you know, they want to sort of like pimp it out, basically, you know, to other creators and stuff like Unreal Engine is doing.
Yeah.
They want to make money off it now. I mean, like, you know, it's a decent engine. I haven't seen anything about the new REX engine, but you know, with all intents and purposes, it's a great engine.
Was it did all their Resident Evil remakes all use that engine then?
I don't know. I think it was the previous one, the RE engine. I don't know whether it used REX or not.
Okay.
I don't think I've seen videos on the REX engine, so forgive me, but I'm just going from what I've heard, basically.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't agree with this whole idea that it's reputational damage. You know, they're saying that a number of mods, nude mods, obviously, are offensive to public order and morals.
Oh God!
Come on, man! If someone wants to make fucking Ryu nude or whatever, like Ken, it's or fucking Guile, it's up to them, right? It's what I said before. If you own a copy of the game and it's offline, anything goes.
Yeah, like these developers themselves don't telling me what they never like look at like porn or stuff like that. Right? They're completely. They never do anything like that. Stuff like that is just like they've got such a moral high ground and they never participate in such dastardly horrible things and stuff like that. But it's beneath them. The model of Chun-Li anyway. I mean, she's got some thighs in her. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
They built the model of her to be, you know, an attractive woman anyway, in a scheme of things, showing quite a lot of leg, and I know, and lots of her moves, the spinning bird kick and the the rapid kick she does. She's
Yeah.
got some thighs in her, that girl. So you know, it's not like the character was not made to kind of be an attractive. And there's a reason why a lot of people choose to play as her, because she's the hot girl. I'm just saying this, so let's not get too carried away.
Yeah. No, it's ludicrous. I just don't. I don't know what they're doing, to be quite honest. I guess it's like a threat. I'd like to think that it's a threat.
What? Don't dare mod our game.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, Dead or Alive comes from the same region, right?
Oh yeah.
And that game is like anything goes with that game. So it's just like whatever. I mean, like they're pushing out all this dodgy shit themselves anyway. Was it Team Ninja?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, come on, man. I think Capcom, you know, they're playing like this sort of nanny sort of state type attitude at the moment, and I do hope it is just a threat.
Do you think that it's a forced statement, like because of because it was who knows who because it was online, and who knows, kids could have been watching under the age of 15, could have been watching, and they've seen her.
Yeah.
They're
I think
forcing
so.
they're forced into doing this PR statement when really they probably don't care. Maybe.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. It's just like they're just showing face, they're just sort of saying it for whatever. But I mean, they go on to state further that mods are officially classed as cheats. So their system, their anti-cheat, anti-piracy system, classifies all mods as cheats. So this is obviously something that's been ongoing for a while, because the way they came out with it was like, yes, our system does not distinguish any difference between the two, but you can't stop us from,
I guess for just Capcom, I guess I don't know. I guess because they're not known for their PC games. I mean, the majority of their games are ported over to PC. But when I think of Capcom, I do kind of see them much more as a console. Do you know what I mean? Most of the games, it feels to me like, the Street Fighters, Resident Evils are all kind of games that come out on console. Yeah. Whereas you've got some other companies, like Bethesda, stuff like that. I mean, I mentioned XCOM, and that's from Firaxis, who are much more of a PC. Most of their games are much more PC first. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Capcom, I would say, probably are console first. Most of their games, if not all of them, are console first, and then they get ported over to PC. Whereas Bethesda, maybe a bit less so now, obviously, with the whole Microsoft being bought by Microsoft, but they were kind of PC first and then console second.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just coming from that kind of situation. Firaxis, like I say, PC first, and XCOM 2 again is my biggest experience, and they embrace the mods a lot like Bethesda do. That's one of their selling points for the game, is the fact that you can mod virtually everything, and it's a mod friendly game.
Yeah.
Whereas Capcom, obviously, they're used to making stuff for consoles, I think, first and foremost, and of course with the exception of one or two games, you don't get any mods on the consoles.
I think it's fine. I think it's fair enough when it comes to console, right? It's just like we don't want any dodgy mods on our console. Fine, fair enough. But PC, you can't control that space, man.
No.
There's always going to be some dodgy, nefarious site somewhere that's offering this stuff.
Yeah.
And you can't stop it. Even if you do your best to lock off the game, put all this anti-piracy, anti-cheat shit in it, they're still going to find a way. If they want to find a way, they will.
The thing is, AP, is that even like Steam embraces it. The Steam Workshop stuff. Yeah. So if you go to Steam Workshop, most of the games have mods on their Steam Workshop. So
you've got
Nexus mods and stuff like that. There's other places I know of as well. But the point is that even the marketplace who are selling the PC games have their own sections of mods there as well. So it's like, okay, well, here are the mods for the game. So it's mainly PC. PCs generally, and developers who prioritize the PC are generally all for it. Yeah. I mean, do you remember a couple of years ago when Rockstar was sneaky bastards, actually. Rockstar used to be completely fine with mods for their GTA 5, and then as soon as their remastered versions were about to come out, all of a sudden they cancelled all the main mods. They cracked down on all the mods. Because they were releasing a version of their game, and they didn't want the modders to create better versions. And then of course it comes out and it's crap. And that's the reason why, because they probably knew that the modders already had done a better job, and they knew that nobody would buy them if they didn't force the modders to get rid of all the mod support and everything. Yeah, I mean, that's Rockstar, lovely Rockstar, who everyone loves. So
every time there's been a so-called leak from Rockstar, it's never good. Their company is on lockdown. You can't get anything out. I mean, this whole GTA 6 leak was just completely like they didn't expect it, and I mean, the guy was a dick anyway, because he was whatever, he was just uploading the videos to like popular sites and stuff, and obviously he gets arrested.
I mean, Pete, do you think Bethesda's fall from grace would have been much, much faster without mods? Can you imagine the Bethesda games? Especially you more than me, because I generally am used to it, because I played the majority of them on the console. So I'm kind of used to Bethesda games without mods. But could you imagine, would you have played Skyrim, because I know how much you love that game, would you have played Skyrim anywhere near as much without the
No,
mods?
no, hell no.
Yeah.
Most of my time, the total amount of hours that are clocked up on that game, I can guarantee you that 70% of that time would have been me looking for mods, like brand new ones and overhauls, and installing them, testing them out, realizing that it's killing my PC, so I uninstall. Right, it's just like it's going through all these things, and yeah, it's like hours and hours and hours, and Bethesda's realized that's another way of guaranteeing longevity of the game. This is how you keep people invested in your title. You allow mods. Okay, we're gonna keep an eye on things and make sure people don't get things too out of hand. I'm told that you're allowed that nudity is now allowed on Nexus mods on their site. Yeah, so I mean, like, right, okay, I've turned that off.
We've also talked about how, especially when it comes to Bethesda, and this is maybe more of an indictment on their flaws or their ethics, which have got to be questioned here. We've joked before that, but it's true though, that modders literally fix their games for them. They literally, more or less, most of their games, including the recent Starfield, come out with issues, and modders have got them fixed in a couple of days.
Yeah,
and putting them really to shame. And it's probably encouraged Bethesda, as we know, to be like, well, okay, they'll do it for us. So
yeah, that's how they've developed their games ever since, Oblivion or Morrowind or whatever. The whole mod space, they realized that, well, we can sort of half-arse it a little bit and then sort of release it, and the modders will resolve all of this shit for us, like with community patches and all of that kind of stuff. So it's modding is a good thing. This is the point I think that we're both trying to get to. It is a good thing. It increases the game's life cycle, and it's fun more than anything else. It's fun to do. You want to put Thomas the fucking Tank Engine as a boss, Mr. X in Resident Evil? Fine, do it. People have done.
Some of the crazy stuff I've seen, bro, for Skyrim was just amazing.
Some idiot changed the baby's face in Resident Evil 8 to Chris Redfield's face. Right, it looks so weird, but like so many people have adopted it because it's funny as fuck. Right, that's the modding space for you. It's having a laugh and it's fixing things.
And see, look, you did that, and it makes me chuckle, and it makes the other people who have probably done that chuckle as well. It's not hurting anyone, is it?
No,
it's
not.
making it laugh. You're having a little giggle. It's funny. What's wrong with something being a bit funny? There's no harm there at all.
Yeah, there's a mod which turns everyone in Resident Evil 8 into sort of like wearing their underwear or something. It's like, whatever, man. Just like, people want to do this shit, just let them do it. Who cares?
And how do you feel? Obviously, because you did release a mod, did you charge? Because I have heard that there's some people who are charging for their mods now.
Yeah.
And I know, more like on Nexus mods, it's a donation thing. Like if you want to, you can kind of donate to the creator. But there is some people, isn't there? And I think they're actually quite frowned upon a little bit, who actually do charge for these mods. Do you think that causes a problem if they're actually getting paid for these mods? Well, they're charging for them.
Traditionally, mods are free, and that's how the whole community has grown. Because you know that if you install a game on a PC that's moddable, you can head over to Nexus site or whatever, and just like have a nice browse through, and it will take up a lot of your time. But you know that all of it's free. Now, I seem to remember that for Starfield, one modder paywalled. Was it the DLSS?
Yes, I remember. Yes, I heard that. Yes, that's probably what I'm thinking
version.
Of.
Yeah,
that's pretty recently, wasn't it? That's right. He was quite. A lot of people really didn't like that, did they? They thought it was really out of order.
No, it was a bit insidious, and I think someone else actually just brought it out anyway, or Bethesda said they were going to implement it anyway, so it completely negated him. I don't think Bethesda liked that at all.
No.
So, If they're not making money off it, then through their creation club, then yeah, they don't want to know. But yeah, so mods are traditionally free, and with my mod, I never even put a donation button up. I never even considered it or thought about it until I think it was Alan said years later. It's like, you never put a donation button on. I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah, you probably should have. You might have got a couple of,
I might
every
have
little
got a
bit.
few quid.
Yeah, every little bit would have counted. I'm sure somebody would have thrown something your way.
But the point I'm trying to make is that I did what I did, and it's a comprehensive mod. It's like, it's gigs big. And I did it just for the love for the community. Just did it for the love of the game. And the robes from the college, the mage college, were just bland as fuck.
Yeah.
And I just thought, well, I did a whole round of maid outfits for opulent outfits, and so why don't I just do one for the the magic school? And yeah, and it turned out to be fairly successful. It's people are still using it today. Every now and then, I put a search in, and
they're still going up.
There's YouTube videos where they're discussing the mod, and
it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've released it into the public domain now, so I've allowed people to take what I've done and modify it further and stuff.
Change it, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
and that happens quite a lot, doesn't it? People build upon other people's work, and then stuff gets better and better. It's
it's like you're handing over the reins to someone else. Yeah. And there's been a lot of people that have ported my mod to the console. They've gotten in contact with me and said, "Do you mind?" And I'm like, "No, it's all in the public space now, mate. You go for it. Just give me a mention. That's all I ask." So yeah, they've done that. I think there's the last time I checked, there's 2 or 3 different versions of my mod on the console, and it's going to be on the Nexus site somewhere. So,
and can you think of any time when a mod has actually damaged a single player game? Has there been a mod that you can think of that has really caused any kind of... I mean, I suppose there's always a little bit of risk of, not a virus per se, but if they change something that causes a problem somewhere.
Well, there are mods that crash the game. Yeah. Right. And part of modding is that you have to be wary of overloading the game.
And too many. Yeah.
Yeah. Specifically with Bethesda, for instance, if you try to speed up the horse movement, that'll just completely destroy the game because and it won't be able to handle it, so it'll just crash. So you have to work within the limitations of what they've coded. And then there are some things, what they call script extenders and all these kind of things, which try to sort of enhance the coding, but you do have to just sort of stay within your means. But I guess what we're trying to say is mods are a good thing. They are a good thing.
And as somebody who's much more on the casual side with using mods, like I say, I've only really used it mainly on 1 or 2 games. All it ever did was enhance everything. Did I have a couple of problems, like stuff that was incompatible with each other? Yeah. And sometimes you do have to make a choice. Sometimes you might want to run 2 mods and they just walk over each other, so to speak, right? So you just have to say, okay, I can't put these 2 mods on. So you kind of
one
pick
overwrites. One overwrites the other one and stuff like that. I mean, Skyrim mods are full of it, but I mean, Nexus launched something called Collections, for those who aren't aware, and it allows users to put together a collection of mods, and
that don't interfere with each other. You mean, and they're all kind of compatible with each other?
Yeah. So for those who don't want to spend time looking, they can just download this whole set. It's in the right load order, and they can just sort of literally download and play. So yeah, it's a good thing. And for Capcom to turn around and go, "Oh, no, it's reputational damage."
They're talking out of their arse, Pete, aren't they? Let's call it as it is. They're talking out of their arse. If it's even how they really feel, because they were embarrassed, I suppose, because God forbid there's an already sexualized Chun-Li, which she's already sexualized character anyway. Yeah. So it's just that next step.
They were scared, when they saw that happen, it was like, oh God, because there's a massive difference between blocking violence and then blocking pornography and sex. sex and pornography is a lot higher of a risk because it can cause a young person a lot of harm more than violence can. I mean, us as kids, we're very, as boys, we're like, we're always sort of like being violent and doing wrestling and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to being exposed to things like pornography and sex, that has a lot more potential damage and harm. So
They
I do
they
get it.
went yeah they went into panic mode, didn't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
They went into panic stations, like their house has just been set on fire. Quickly, do whatever you can, get the
And
fire extinguishers out to exhaust the flames.
they didn't want to risk any lawsuits or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, of course, they're going to come out and say this kind of thing. Do I think that it's an empty threat? Maybe. I think it's just literally like a warning to say, like, guys, get it together, man. If you're going to do stuff like this, turn it off before you go online.
Yeah, they'll obviously probably have to implement next time they do one of these online things. They're going to have to spend a lot more time, I suppose, going over everybody who's actually playing the game and saying, making sure,
running checks and shit, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, we hope you enjoyed our discussion today. If you did, please consider subscribing and clicking the bell and leaving a comment and a thumbs up and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, tell us what you think. If you use mods yourself, or if you are even a modder, even better if you're actually a modder yourself.
Yeah.
How do you feel about these kind of silly comments that they've made?
Yes, we really would like to hear from you and your opinions, because I think this is a livelihood. There are a lot of dedicated modders out there, some super talented modders.
Yeah.
And, if legislation comes in where they're forced to not do this kind of thing, that's their livelihoods at an end. And we don't want that. We want creativity, and we want self-expressionism and all that kind of good stuff.
And some games really need mods. I mean, we've all seen Starfield, right?
Yeah. Bethesda, We're looking at you with two beady eyes. Fuck sticks.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you on the next show. Take care.